Reviews on the run. It's a cold, brisk day here in New York City, so Scott and I are going to act like tourists and hit the road. Today on Reviews on the Run, Scott and I are taking a look at Burnout Paradise, Tarak, Sonic Riders Zero Gravity, and it versus its kid sports basketball and ice hockey against MLB Power Pros. All right, first game we're going to talk about is Burnout Paradise from Criterion Games. It's out there for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. What'd you think?
I thought it was great.
It's a kick-ass game, huh?
That's right.
Yeah, those guys have known how to do the racing and crashing for a long time. The whole setup is that you can go anywhere this time. You can drive around the entire city.
The city is yours.
The city is yours. And what a diverse city this is, isn't it? I mean, there's a lot of different kinds of...
Rivers, baseball stadiums.
Yes.
A wharf, which I know you like to hang out at wharf.
I spent all my time at the wharf. And I think it's going to shock a lot of people. A lot of people that have been with the series since the beginning. This is totally a different direction because, I mean, it's still racing and crashing and all of that still, but it's, you kind of have to find it, you know? Like, half of the game is just driving to the next event. The Showtime mode, this is the new and improved, quote-unquote, version of Crash Mode, which was the ultimate party experience. Have you ever played it in previous Burnout games?
I have.
This one's totally different. It's pretty much you press 2 buttons and then you go for a long time.
And you roll like a Katamari ball,
Pretty much.
causing damage.
Yeah, it's Katamari meets Burnout, pretty much.
And it's a bad combination.
Yeah, it's a little bit silly. You got, you know, your road rage, you got the regular races. They also have the stunt run. You try to rack up as many stunt points as you possibly can.
Right. Hit jumps, do 180s in midair.
Right.
I actually, at one point, I was driving an SUV-type vehicle, one of the heavier vehicles.
Yeah.
I hit a side ramp like this, and I flipped in the air like this and landed.
Yeah.
And whoa!
What'd you think of the mugshots?
It's the first time I've ever put pants on just to play a video game.
You wanted to admit that here?
I don't mind.
Everybody?
I don't mind.
You don't mind?
Take down another driver when free burning online, and if they have a camera attached to their console, you get to collect their mugshot.
I'm expecting a lot of naked butts up in the thing.
I tried to get mine on there.
Did you?
Yeah.
And then what happened?
Well, I saw something that I needed to have a doctor check out.
No, it is a very innovative thing. I think this is way too much information.
The city world itself is as much of a character as the cars are, as you are.
It's Paradise City, right?
It's a third element.
Yeah, it really is. It's like a character in the game.
Yeah.
Did you have more fun playing it, though?
I did. I loved getting to know the city. That's always my favorite part of these open world sandbox style games. Where are the shortcuts? Where are the jumps? I love exploring. One big design flaw overall is that, if you're doing a race and you lose that race, you don't just go back to start the race over again. There's no quick back, do the race over again.
Yeah.
It's like you got to drive all the way back to the start of that race if you want to go again.
I did like the fact that you could, automatically get online by just pressing up on the D-pad.
Absolutely.
And you could also,
convenient.
Yeah, that's cool. And you can also get into the different stats for particular, stretches of road.
Yes.
Or, you can get the online stats. You can get sort of the offline stats. Maybe it's taken us far enough. Maybe they should take a rest on the Burnout franchise. Do you want to see a Burnout Paradise 2?
I got to confess, while we're doing this review, I'm playing with my navel.
Are you really? You're touching yourself?
I like the game. I respect so much of what it does, and it does so much right. And it's beautiful, and the crashes are beautiful, and I was totally addicted to the game. I got sucked into it in a big way.
Yeah.
And so, we're griping about some relatively small things. I just want to put it into perspective.
It's fantastic, but the challenge that these guys had, just like the guys that worked on Spider-Man 3 had, is the last kicks at it were amazing. Right. So they had they're kind of their own worst enemies. But I wanted to give Burnout Revenge an 11 out of 10. Tommy reined me back in. I love that game. It's excellent, but it's not quite the same electrifying caliber as they've been in the previous games. What are you going to give Burnout Paradise?
8.5.
I'm giving it a 9. It's a great game. This guy is quickly becoming my favorite video game character of all time. I keep playing incredible games. I'm doing that again on the PSP. It's God of War Chains of Olympus, and I'll tell you what, it is the best portable video game I have ever played. Those guys at Ready at Dawn are creating state-of-the-art video gameplay on a handheld system. They're taking advantage of the PSP's full processor capabilities, and that means beautifully rendered combat moves, lots of incredibly huge bosses to fight with all kinds of amazing magical spells and cool weapons. Linda Hunt does the narration again, so you want to plug in earphones or headphones so you can listen to this thing. The gameplay is super tight, super fast. You know what God of War is all about. It's about beating all kinds of ancient mythological creatures and bosses. You get into lots of arenas. There's puzzle solving and moving of giant statues. This is fantastic gameplay. Ready at Dawn, the developers behind this, are now working on Okami for the Wii. This company is a company to watch, and this game is a game to get as soon as possible. God of War Chains of Olympus, 10 out of 10. Hey, don't go away. We're coming right back with a look at Tarak right after this. Is that a dinosaur?
I guess so.
Or a cat?
I don't know.
It's a kitty cat.
It was really a bad idea.
It was a bad dinosaur. That's what I was. Last year at the Indie Games Festival at GDC, we discovered Everyday Shooter, a game that is very original and very cool for a couple of reasons. Number one, it was made by one guy, and he's Canadian. His name's Jonathan Mack, and he got it out there for the PlayStation Store on the PlayStation 3. It's all in HD. It looks pretty slick. There's lots of different graphical kind of treatments going through the thing. And it's a shooter in a very populated genre where you control your ship with one joystick, the left one, and you shoot with the right one. We've played games like this with, Super Stardust HD, Mutant Storm, Geometry Wars. We've done a lot of these kinds of games recently. And this one doesn't really elevate in terms of gameplay, but what's interesting is the way that it mixes music and kind of this light show into the experience. It's definitely inspiring to see one guy get out there and make a game by himself and have it available on the PlayStation Store. Good stuff. 7.5 out of 10 for Everyday Shooter. Welcome back. We're talking about Tarak.
That's right.
And I have a confession.
You got to do the right thing.
I got to do the right thing. We actually we did a very cool project. My production company. We worked on the making of Tarak with Propaganda Games and Touchstone. It's called the Awakening the Giants: The Making of Tarak. So I want to get that out front. But I told them when I did the work on that project that when it came time to review the game, I was going to be 100% honest about my opinions. And if I think the game sucks, I'll tell you the game sucks. And I'll tell you.
This was the thing you were coming clean on?
Yeah,
I thought it was about getting that girl pregnant.
Cut. Yeah, so but the thing is, I don't think the game sucks. I think Propaganda did a really good job on this game. I know you're not a big fan.
The propaganda somehow was working its voodoo on you. I had high hopes for this game.
Yeah.
I really did. I loved Tarak.
I think the gaming journalism kind of core out there, we all wanted this thing to be amazing.
It's like when somebody does something wrong in the eyes of the media and everyone's like down. Like Britney Spears, that poor girl, she can't get a break.
How did you work Britney Spears into it?
Tarak is like Britney Spears. We want to love Britney again. We want to love Tarak again. We're ready to love him.
I see the
So Joe
the
Tarak comes out. He's got his penchant for sleeveless outerwear.
Right.
He loves his Mr. T Mohawk.
Yeah.
And
he's got the big neck. He's got the Unreal Engine prerequisite giant neck.
Yeah, where do those necks come from?
I don't know. It's some pretty impressive neckage, though.
Cliffy V has a neck factory. And he's like, keep making necks.
It's not.
You and I need big necks.
I know, man.
So then our necks could fight.
Maybe our graphics guy could hook that up.
We gotta have fighting necks.
Special effects on our necks.
So anyway, the game starts out.
Yeah.
And I'm okay. I'm going along, and I'm in the jungle, and I'm fighting. All of a sudden, a velociraptor comes.
Yes.
He runs into me, knocks me off my feet.
Yeah.
There are my boots. I can see my boots.
Yeah.
I get back on my feet. Another one knocks me down. There are my boots again. I pick up my gun. And because the aiming sensitivity is ratcheted up so high, I'm swinging around like this.
You can adjust that.
I know, I'm getting to that.
All right, okay.
The next thing, the screen goes a little red, then a little more red, then suddenly it's like Kool-Aid. Even when I ratcheted it down all the way to the lowest sensitivity, I still had trouble hitting guys.
There are definite issues with the game. But what I did like about this game quite a bit was the mix of the AI opponents. I like the fact that you do have dinosaurs that come out, and I like that there's different types of dinosaurs fighting each other. I like that the enemies are kind of intelligent. They're not just going to come out and start blasting at you and be fodder all the time. The best part about this game absolutely has got to be that they make the knife an effective weapon, and it's fun to kill people with the knife. The animations with the knife are phenomenal, and let's be honest, I mean, the art in this game is terrific. I think that the jungles look really cool, the dinosaurs look really cool, the animations of when Tarak goes into third person, when he's climbing up ladders or killing people or killing the dinosaurs, all that stuff looks really sweet. When you do get some of the vehicle kind of combat sequences, those things look incredible as well. Multiplayer maps are solid.
What I liked is the fact that dinosaurs randomly just cruise around the battlefield.
You get the flare gun and shoot a flare gun at somebody.
There's nothing better than seeing some guy getting ganked up by a dinosaur while you just clean up after him.
I like this game a lot. You know, I think it's a very, very solid game. And I think first-person shooter fans should give it a shot. What are you going to give Tarak?
I'm not going to be nice.
Yeah, you give your score, man. You be honest.
6.
6 out of 10. Wow. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Good game. Hey, stick around. We're coming back with a brand new Sonic game for the Wii. It's called Sonic Riders Zero Gravity.
Tarak 3 for the Nintendo 64.
Tries to be Perfect Dark, and it's not. So
it's like a mix of Perfect Dark and Sin and Half-Life. The AI is pretty good. They'll follow you around. You have to be quick and choosy with who you're shooting and when you're shooting.
I thought the one thing about the game is that there's lots of like cinematics and music and story.
And it's well acted and well presented, I thought. You can have up to 4 people playing at the same time. Not as good as Perfect Dark.
I think a 7.7 is where I fall in on this. I didn't love it to death, but it's definitely above average.
I liked it. I was surprised that I did. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, and I'm going to recommend it, provided you've already picked up and played Perfect Dark.
Play Perfect Dark first, right.
Welcome back. We're talking about Sonic Riders Zero Gravity for the Nintendo Wii. Yeah, I knew you specifically requested we review another Sonic game. 3D Sonic games have not done so well. You know, the attraction of this game is going to be for people that want one of these character-based racing titles, right? And they want to use their Wiimote control to control all of these different characters. And you do get a boatload of characters. If you like the Sonic characters, you get them all in this set.
They got them all. They got Porky, they got Fudgy.
No, who's Fudgy?
They got Blueberry the Ghost, I think is unlockable.
Apparently, someone wasn't paying attention to the copious amounts of cut sequences that are...
There's a lot of talking.
Lots of talking. Don't you love the voice of Tails? Roll some of the voice of Tails.
Yeah, the sound of the impact woke me from my sleep, and I found it outside.
Now, how does that person have a job?
I don't...
You know, how do they get paid to do this? Like somebody gives them money to go into a recording booth and sound like that.
Yeah, that's like
terrible.
Giving me money to
review games. I know.
Review games.
I was thinking the same.
Yep, exactly.
Great minds.
What did you think about the sense of speed in the game?
Well, it's Sonic. I mean, all the Sonic games have to be fast, and this didn't feel especially faster. I did like the ripple folding time effect whenever you'd sort of slingshot into a new speed. I thought that was kind of interesting. You could pull off stunts and tricks. Did you pull off any stunts on your airboard?
Off a stunt.
Did you?
Yeah.
What was it? The hucking the Wiimote?
Did a 23 skidoo to a stealthfish.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Were you playing this game?
So Sonic has a piece of jewelry, magic jewelry. I know you wear a lot of jewelry.
I do.
What do you have? What are you wearing right now?
Just my wedding ring.
I got my belly ring in today.
Oh, you got you.
Anyway, he has a bracelet that allows him to alter gravity.
Yeah.
But I mean, what ends up happening is you wonder how this little character who has nice sneakers, a penchant for running, why does he need this hoverboard at all?
I call him the blue blur. Why does the blue blur need to have a hoverboard?
Right. No online.
Multiplayer, split screen, but no online.
Even though
play.
at this point Nintendo has opened the gates for developers to start including online play into their games, so that seems a little inexcusable to me.
I've loved the 2D Sonic games since they first came out back on the Genesis days, and I've liked the handheld, Sonics, the 2D kind of esque ones, but they just can't get this 3D stuff right.
Would you say wait for Mario Kart just to come out?
Well, listen, man, there's a lot of fans of Sonic out there, okay? And
Who are these people?
I don't know, they keep buying the games. They keep picking them up all the time.
People are crazy.
I know, they support this thing. And out of all the 3D Sonic games, this is not my least favorite, so that's my glowing endorsement of it. But it's not terrible, and if you got friends that also like Sonic and want to play it together, you can have an okay time. I'm going to give it a 6.5.
I'm going to give it a 6.
Today in Hardware, we're talking about Horus fighting stick. It's called the EX2, and if you own a 360 and you own Dead or Alive, or you own Virtua Fighter Online,
or even if you download Super Street Fighter 2 HD,
right, you can pick up that sucker for sure. And there's a bunch of old classic arcade games that actually seem to make sense to be played with the joystick. Remember joysticks? They used to have
Championship Edition.
Oh my God, I love that game.
Try that out.
I love it. I love it. So this is a robust, well-built fighting stick. It's got all the buttons that you could ever want. What is there, 10 buttons on this sucker?
There's about 80 buttons on it.
I couldn't count that high.
I pressed them all. If you're into buttons, you
got
want
the
this
turbo
stick.
modes. It's a solidly designed fighting stick. Unfortunately, you can't really, unless the games already come with it, you can't really customize the layout. So you may find some fighting games that work better with the stick than others,
right,
which is a bit of a drag. I think you got to be pretty hardcore because these things aren't cheap, right?
They're not cheap.
It's like 80 bucks or something?
80 to 90 bucks you're going to drop for this. And not only are they not cheap, they also take up quite a bit of real estate in your house.
So yeah, I'm going to not recommend it with an asterisk. I think if you are hardcore on the arcade experience, you probably want to fix something
It's a niche market that's going to be excited by this. Not everybody needs it.
Not recommended with an asterisk as well. All right, stick around. When we come back, we're looking at a bunch of kids' sports games for the Nintendo Wii.
For the whole family.
For the whole family. Yeah, that's a better way to say it. Welcome to the hit list. Here are 5 of our favorite next-gen shooters. Number 5 is Gears of War. Number 4, BioShock. Number 3, Halo 3. Number 2, Call of Duty 4. And number 1, Crysis. Hey, welcome back. Today in Versus, we're looking at a bunch of family-friendly sports titles, which is kind of fitting. One of them is hockey. We found ice. We're not stupid.
It's not hard to find ice.
Yeah, well, not in a day like this.
No.
We're talking about kids' sports.
Check my underwear.
Oh, really? He's mad at me because I made him shoot outside all day. We're talking about kids' sports hockey, kids' sports basketball. We're looping those together.
Yes.
Going up against MLB Power Pros, which is a totally different game and a different series. Let's talk about graphics first of all. The graphics in hockey and basketball, kind of the same, kind of big head, kind of flash-like.
Same aesthetic.
Yeah, it's the same kinds of teams.
Exaggerated features, big lips like you. Big eyes like you.
You can't pick me apart. We're talking about the video game. We're not doing the graphics on me. No, we're talking about the look of the this game, and they're very similar. I think they use a lot of the same animations, a lot of the same stuff going on. Whereas MLB Power Pros is, kind of exaggerated and goofy looking. They look like little plastic vinyl toys almost.
They have no noses, no ears, no mouths.
And I don't think all the body parts are connected.
No, it's sort of like
sounds really morbid what we're talking about.
Like
here.
Rayman,
A little like Rayman.
Floating limb.
Totally.
He suffered. Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious though in MLB that they did all these real like television style cutaways and close-ups and flybys and stuff, and they're the real players. Like they announce them as the real guys, and they don't look like anything. They could be anybody. I was actually really impressed. I think they did a lot of cool kind of TV style presentation touches around MLB, and the kids sports games are so generic. They really felt like you had seen this stuff on the web, like there was nothing really 3D, even though they use renderware and there are some 3D effects and stuff in there. It's lame last gen stuff. Graphics, you would give it to MLB?
I would, yeah. I just feel like overall it has a better sense of cohesiveness. It has a better sense of what it is and what it wants to do.
Audio, what did you think? All 3 of these games didn't have the best music. It's all kind of like over-the-top zany stuff. I thought that there was a very kind of Charlie Brown lounge type vibe to the kids' sports games. and I thought there was like a stunted E Street band with Clarence Clemens kind of saxophone thing going on in MLB.
Yeah, I was a little put out by the audio soundtrack too. So what I did is I turned down the volume. Yeah. Put on my Bette Midler albums.
Oh, you played some Bette Midler.
Yeah, that goes good with the kids' sports.
The Rose. Yeah, it's great. It's a great song. I'm your lady, man. The stitching on the announcers in all three of the games was pretty horrible. Yeah. I actually didn't mind the kid sports guy, though. He got a little bit excited.
I liked him, yeah.
Yeah, it was okay.
It's the best thing I can say about those.
Yeah, and the other guy, Johnny Maluzzi or Jimmy Maluzzi or whatever, he sounded like he was into it in Power Pros, but they just stitched him up all wrong. So he kept saying, like, Cincinnati Reds are 5-0. It just sounded so bizarre.
The Blue Jays might just get the first run of the game here. Makes it back. Lyle Overbay. Strike.
I think it's a wash. I think they all kind of sound the same for me. So would you say it's a tie on the audio as well?
It's a tie on the audio, yeah.
All right. So gameplay, we're talking about something with the kids sports games are really kind of basic, kind of flash-based kind of stuff. MLB actually had a lot more depth than I was expecting.
Absolutely.
It has like an RPG type career mode called Success Mode.
Success Mode. The stat tracking is incredibly deep.
I was blown away. There were so many layers of information going on throughout the game.
Layers.
And it has all the regular pros. It has all of the stadiums. The other games just feel like hockey, and they didn't even get the terms right.
Again, it's just like how
put up your shields, and try to strike out at the other opponents.
I'm going to use a word that my dad uses to describe me a lot. Half-assed.
Half-assed, absolutely.
Those two games were half-assed.
Absolutely. And MLB just goes above and beyond what you're expecting. It looks like a total kids throwaway game, but there's a lot of depth, a lot of diversion, a lot of stuff. There's mini games, and it's it's a solid experience. I'm definitely giving it to MLB. What about you?
MLB.
All right.
Way.
What are you going to give MLB Power Pros?
I would give it a 7.
7? I'm going to give it an 8. What are you going to give Kids Sports Hockey?
5.5.
I'm going to give that a 4. And what are you giving Kids Sports Basketball?
5.0.
3.5 for me.
Whoa!
No contest here. MLB Power Pros all the way. If you're looking for family-friendly sports gaming on your Wii, got to check this out.
Guess what I got for you?
What's that?
Check into the boards!
Oh. Today on the show, Scott and I took a look at Burnout Paradise. Huge open-world racing fun to be had with lots to see and do, but as ambitious and cool as the game is, Paradise isn't necessarily an improvement for the series over Revenge or Takedown. Tarak, terrific art and a great use of the knife and bow and arrow, but the targeting is tough, and we could have used more diversity in the human opponents. Sonic Riders Zero Gravity. Decent riders and speed and all the characters you can eat, but the controls are tough, there's no online play, and 3D Sonic is still not as cool as 2D Sonic. In Versus, we looked at Kid Sports Basketball and Kid Sports Ice Hockey. The Kid Sports idea is pretty cool, but they could have bundled in all of the titles on one disc, and they should have upped the production values considerably. We looked at that one against MLB Power Pros. Wow, what a deep and surprisingly cool game this is. Baseball fans of all ages are really going to enjoy MLB Power Pros, but with great games like the Bigs and MLB 2K8 available as well, 2K Sports is flooding the baseball market. No contest here, though. MLB Power Pros cleans up in this Versus. The Rogers Video Game of the Week is Burnout Paradise. Did you have a favorite vehicle in the game?
I like the Happy Days car. The
you
one
like
that
Happy Days? Yeah.
It was pink with the fins on the back, and I felt like I was going to drive down to Arnold's.
But I would like to play as the Fonz in a Happy Days game.
You are the Fonz.
Am I the only one? I kind of am
of the video
Fonz.
game world, you're the Fonz.
I kind of am.